Welcome back, you guys. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Swadik Mayanja, and I am Q the Nurse. And we are on another episode of the Everyday Hero Show. And on this show, I bring you amazing human beings that do amazing things for their communities, but they don't get the credit that they deserve. And today, I have with me Joy and Claire. And they're going to show us and talk to us about podcasting, about CrossFit. The Open just ended. This is perfect timing. The games are around the corner. I am excited. I am happy. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're so excited. As you can see, we're both
I'm just
being so excited.
crying. I want a piece of whatever you're drinking.
Oh my God, no, you don't. What's it called? So let's start from the beginning. I want origin stories from the both of you. We can start with you, Joy. I want to know where you from, and then real quick answer, because we're going to get into the depths of it later, but where you from and why CrossFit?
So I grew up in Arizona, and I grew up there most of my life, went to college there, moved to Denver, Colorado for grad school, and decided to just stay in Colorado because I loved it. And I've always been an active person, so throughout my life, I've pretty much tried everything. Mostly a runner for a long time. I thought cardio was king.
Yes.
And then my friend at work, at the job I was working at the time, introduced me to CrossFit, and this was way before gyms were really, boxes were a thing. And so I started doing CrossFit, and I was running. The funny thing is I was training for a marathon when I ran by a CrossFit gym. And my friend at work who got me into it, was you really need to go to a CrossFit box. You're kind of growing out of the little CrossFit, gym that we were doing inside of our little gym studio at work. And that's how I got into it. And I fell in love with it. And then over time, obviously, it's really kind of become this wonderful hobby of ours. But the community really got me. Sorry, my dog's on, sitting right here. The computer is sitting on my dog, so that was just him moving.
What is your dog's name? If you mention a pet, I need to know the name.
His name's JT, and I'll put
JT.
the camera right there.
He's adorable.
Just laying in my lap because he refused to let me do this alone, so he's just laying in my lap. So that's my really abbreviated CrossFit story.
Beautiful. Claire. Oh, wait, Joy, right back to you real quick. Do you still run marathons? Because that's super intense.
Funny you should ask. I did not run for the longest time. I would say I've casually run over the past years since I've been doing long distances, but I kind of got a bug to do the New York City Marathon.
Congrats.
Last year I kept every year that it would go by, I would say to myself, oh my gosh, I really missed that race. That race was amazing. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And I was in December, I saw the lottery open because they just pick your name randomly, but it's really hard to get into. So I was well, I'm not going to get picked. And so I just entered my name in the lottery and I got picked. So I'm going to, hopefully, if my body holds up, run the New York City Marathon in November.
I like it. Those are real goals, girl. Those are real goals.
Oh, I'm really excited. I'm gonna have a very short training window. I'm gonna have a very specific. I'm gonna train for 3 months, and I'm gonna see how I feel. Because if I train longer than that, I'm probably gonna injure myself. So I have a plan this time.
Stick to it, girl. Stick to it. Claire.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Good morning. Good afternoon.
Fantastic.
So same question.
Okay, great.
Who are you? Where are you from? And why CrossFit?
Yeah. My name is Claire. My last name is pronounced Cook. Fun fact.
Wonderful. How's it spelled?
Koch.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, which is why I have to say that.
Yes.
I was born and raised in Boulder, Colorado, and I've lived here all my life. I now live in Longmont, which is a suburb of Boulder.
Okay.
And I got into CrossFit because I had been living in Moab and was a raft guide. And so I was hiking and climbing, and I almost said running. I wasn't running. I was hiking and climbing and rafting every day. And my husband actually decided to go to nursing school. So we moved back to Denver so that he could start his prerequisites, he has a bachelor's in film. So there was nothing crossed over. So he was started at square zero. And so we moved back to Denver, and we were just super bored all the time because we had just come from this place where we were constantly moving. And so for his birthday, about 6 years ago, I gave him a birthday card, and on the inside, one side was a month membership at a climbing gym, and the other side was a month of CrossFit, and he picked CrossFit. And so we completely randomly just started doing CrossFit, and yeah, I had never played sports before. I was in show choir and student council. Like, I was not an
That's
athlete.
very different. Yes.
Yeah. So I was active, like, I was a raft guide and stuff, but
Yes.
I hate running. I never did, half marathons or even like 5Ks or anything like that. So it was a completely new world to me. But I just loved it. I loved the community aspect of it. We had just moved to Denver. We didn't have a lot of friends, so we met a bunch of great people, and yeah, that's just kind of what got me hooked.
All right, so these stories are good. I appreciate it. I love the come up. I love origin stories. It's the best ever. But what I missed here, I thought I was going to get it, but I'm happy. Well, now we can find out. When did that happen? When did the link
Yeah.
happen?
We love that question because it's completely random. So Joy and I weren't friends before we started the podcast, and it wasn't like, oh, who's the Joy?
Yeah.
But like we just didn't know each other really.
We just like passing ships in the night at the CrossFit gym.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
we went to the same CrossFit gym, and at the time we both had fitness blogs because that's what you did.
Yes.
In 2012, you had a fitness blog, and one day, and like we every time we tell this story, we think, I don't know why Joy had my number. Like that's how little we hung out or knew each other. And so, but one day out of the blue, she texted me and said, "Hey, do you listen to podcasts?" And I was like, "No, I listen to Car Talk. Like, does that count?" She was like, "No." And she said, and I thought she was going to recommend one. So I said, "No. Like, why do you ask?" She's like, "Well, I think we should start a podcast. Like, there are no other female CrossFit podcasts out there. And I just think it'd be really fun." And so we just opened up a laptop on my futon in our guest room a couple weeks later and started doing it.
Yeah. So the name of the podcast, ladies, Girls Gone WOD Podcast. Love that name. Love that name, girls. Congratulations. Way to win with the name. I see that's branding. That's the shit. So Joy.
Thank you.
Of course. So you contacted her. You guys started the podcast thing, right? You guys are on 220. You guys are over
248.
247.
This will be, it's 248 this week, right?
247. Yeah.
Congratulations. My God.
Yeah.
My God.
It's
my
crazy.
God. Yes. So that's a lot of podcasting. It's a lot of CrossFit, right? And so I've listened to a few of them, okay? And you guys are really good. I enjoy the format of the podcasts, right? But my question is, it's strictly CrossFit, right? Do you guys do any personal stuff, or is it always strictly CrossFit?
It's almost never CrossFit anymore, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Isn't that funny?
I would say when we started, if you just kind of listen to a couple episodes here and there, and especially a lot of the interviews that we get are still with CrossFit athletes, just because that's the community we're a part of. And so those are the connections that we have, and because they're interesting folks to talk to. But for the most part, I mean, we will go weeks.
Can you hear JT snoring, by the way?
No.
Okay, good.
I wish I could.
So loud. Okay.
No.
Thanks
Great.
for the heads up.
Pretty loud.
We over time have just evolved into talking more about just life in general and health in general, and still the issues that come up for people and women in particular, but we also do have a lot of male listeners who just in the pursuit of a healthy lifestyle, there's so much crap that gets thrown at you, and there's so much stuff that comes up emotionally, and so we just talk about all that stuff.
So question for you, Joy. What would you say your personal goal is? Don't look at Claire. I want your specific personal goals.
She doesn't have to look at me.
Claire, help me. Yeah.
What's it called? When it comes to the podcasting, yes, I want to know that. But CrossFit in general, what are your goals in those two aspects?
Yeah. So I'll start with CrossFit. And with CrossFit, I think what I've evolved for my goal to be is to enjoy it. I started CrossFit with a pretty competitive edge. I'd never had the confidence to do any type of competitive sports growing up. I was always in like dance and like something where I could always hide and be in the background and not really be responsible for a point or losing a game. That was just too much pressure for me. So I never had that competitive bone inside of me, or at least I never was put into that situation. But people growing up would always tell me, are you a swimmer? Are you a volleyball player? Do you do sports? Because I just have an athletic build and I look like an athlete. And so when I started CrossFit, I was like, oh, now I get to like catch up to what my body was built to do. But it kind of turned into this competitive, beating myself up, comparing myself to others. And so now I just really love doing it because it makes me feel good. And that is my goal, is to do it every day, to go, I really enjoy this, and to walk out of the gym feeling like I feel good, I feel energized, I feel like I connected with people. And I think that's kind of what Claire and I hope too, to put out to people who want to just be active, not necessarily CrossFit. But for me, that's kind of what the goal is now.
And then so with podcasting, is there
and
a
with
specific
podcast,
goal?
Yeah, and Claire and I talk about, and we talked about this recently, and we talk about this often. And I think our goal from day one, and this really, we feel so lucky that we started when we did.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people, which is fine, but people now will start podcasting with the intent to say, I want to start a podcast, but they're not really sure what they want to do. Where we were like, we saw this gap and we want to create A, B, and C. Like, we knew what we wanted to create because we knew what gap needed to be filled. But now the podcast world is so saturated. I don't think there's any gaps that need to be filled. So people go, I just want to talk. And I mean, no offense, but I get very snobby about this, just because I feel like we have seen it from when there was like 5 podcasts for women in the fitness community, and now there's 500. Yeah. So our goal is to stick with what really got us going in the first place, is to always make decisions from that space, and to always make decisions from, is it fun? Is it good for our community? And the second because I've seen podcasts do it wrong. I've seen them start with this awesome vibe, and then they all of a sudden try to sell themselves, and it just immediately turns the energy. So while we do get sponsorships, we always make it just like, well, we don't feel pressure to push anything. We feel like we're supported very well with this podcast and, what we want to do. But I think that's the goal, is to wherever that energy continues to take us is what we want to stick to.
That's awesome. So like, we're definitely going to jump back into that, because I also have a very, I don't want to say specific, but We'll get back to it in a little bit.
Yes, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Definitely. You're going to hear a lot of my thoughts. Okay. So Claire, right back at you. So I'm assuming that the goals are the same, right? If there's anything Joy missed / you want to add, by all means, you can do that. But I want to know, because there's 2 of you, there's only 1 of me. Podcasting is not my specific end goal, right? I'm much more FaceTime. Like, I'm much more YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I want to be the video versus just the audio. But there's 2 of you. How do you guys split up the work when it comes to the podcasting? Is like, are you doing the scripts? Is Joy doing like the audio, all of that, editing? How do you guys split that up? And like, because you guys seem like it's a great thing.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing how perfect the amount of work is, like, so evenly split. Because Claire does all the writing, all the social media, for the most part. Like, she handles all of that because she's really good at that. Like, so the podcast, like, is evenly split into our strengths, as far as the work goes. And I mean, that's just been since day one. We've hit this pattern where we record. I learned how to do all the audio stuff, and it was like, I kind of had a little bit of a background of how to do some of that stuff. So that was really easy for me to take on. And then Claire did a lot of the website design and like managed all of that piece. And so as we hit our flow, it's kind of like clockwork, where I upload the episode, she does all the copy and all the posts about it. And it's just like, it's pretty, I don't want to say easy, but it's not, we've done it for so long that it's like, it doesn't require a ton of thought. And it's pretty equally distributed. I mean, aside from both of us wishing we had like a photographer to follow us around and take Instagram pictures.
Tell me about
it. Yeah, that's the hardest
social
part.
media is really hard to make it like beautiful. What do you post about?
On Instagram every day?
Like, but original.
Like, there's only so many like pictures, like, this of like me holding a coffee cup that this world needs to see. It's just not that many.
Claire, I am so happy you said that. So happy. I mean, I see other people's Instagram pics posting like 2-3 a day. I'm like, I can't keep up. I cannot keep. It's impossible, right? I'm just not that interesting.
Yeah.
No,
to
right?
be honest.
And there's And there's two of us, and between the two of us, we're still not that interesting. It's like, well, Joy's at work. I'm here with the top. It's like
Exactly.
our days look the same. Nothing's going on.
So yeah. You just said that Joy was at work. Claire, do you have an outside? Is podcasting you guys' main income? I don't need to know details, but
No.
is it more passion than income, or is it half and half, or is it mainly income and then?
We make almost nothing off the podcast. It kind of it's a project that kind of pays for itself. Any activity that we do around the podcast, we do have some sponsors and that's fun, but we have a conversation a couple of times a year of like, what would this look like if this were to be our job? And I think that ultimately we have the the pieces are there if we wanted to flip that on, but it would completely change what this project meant. And it would be, now we're podcasting as a means to an end. Now we have to do it. Now we have to have sponsors. Now, we're monetizing. And like ultimately now we're kind of doing it for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And, while I think that it could be, it could be a lot of fun, it also could completely tank and just stop. Like it would. I think it could just ruin it.
Yeah.
I know.
And I think the other piece too is I'm kind of waiting for the market to be more supportive of podcasts. I think right now it's getting there. But whether that be networks taking podcasts on or shows taking podcasts on, I think that that's something that's coming in the future. I see it happening already, and a lot of people doing like the YouTube stuff, which we have no interest in doing. But I think eventually there's going to be more support. And not saying that it would become a full-time job, but I do think that there's a space for that. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what goes on. Yeah.
I do think you guys are awesome. I love you guys' Instagram pics. I think you ladies are beautiful. Okay.
How did you find us, by the way? I'm just curious.
So I love
because you're so supportive. Yeah.
So I love CrossFit. So I do buy CrossFit, and I'm not even training to be a CrossFit athlete. Absolutely not. It's definitely strictly competitive. I miss a three-sport athlete when I was growing up, so I needed that competitive edge when I went to the gym. Just going there and doing bench press did not cut it for me. Found CrossFit, fell in love with CrossFit. And like when I started on Instagram, I'm like, the only people I want to see post pictures of them doing workouts, because everyone is doing that, are people doing CrossFit, because I don't know how to do the butterfly yet. I can't do, a pistol yet, and I want to see these people do it. So following all the CrossFit Instagram people, you guys popped up, and I'm like, yes! I was like, yes. So I do want to talk a little bit, because you guys did say that you guys mentioned about just being healthy and being healthy woman, and you did talk about being a healthy woman. When I talk about CrossFit with anyone outside of people doing CrossFit, the number one thing I hear all day, every day is, I don't want to be bulky. I don't want to look jacked. I don't want to be the strongest. And I have to say, and this is, I just want to be like as honest coming forward right here. When I first started CrossFit, I did not the only strong looking woman I saw in the public eye was Serena Williams. That's all I knew, right? And then once I started doing CrossFit, I'm like, it's everywhere, it's everyone, and it's amazing, right? What do you guys say to that, and how do you deal with that outside of the cross? Because when you're in the gym, everyone is like the same mindset. But outside of the gym, how do you guys deal with women saying that to you? Women saying, that's why I hate CrossFit. That's why it's not good for you. How do you guys respond?
Yeah, we've covered this a lot in a lot of our episodes, because that is definitely, I could go a lot of different ways with this topic. But I think what comes to mind first and foremost is the fear of it's really not possible to just wake up one day and be bulky. Like Claire has said before, it's just impossible for you to just wake up and be like, oh my gosh, where'd these muscles come from? So I want to give people credit, and that they have that much confidence that their body's just going to put on muscle like that. Good for you if that's what you think. That's great confidence, and I'm all about confidence, but it just isn't possible. So for someone like me who's pretty athletic, just my genes are pretty athletic, it doesn't take much for me to put on muscle. So yes, I'm probably going to put on more muscle than the other, the average person that's going to do CrossFit. So for me, it's I kind of have to be aware of what I want my body to look like. But and then the other piece is so what's wrong with that, right? What is wrong with having muscle? So bulky is I feel like that has a negative connotation to it.
Yes.
So what are you saying? Like muscles are ugly? Okay, that's fine. Everyone has their opinion. It'd be like the same thing as me saying, I don't think ballerinas look good. I don't know, like something random like that. Like, oh, they're too skinny. So like that to me feels like a little bit of a twinge of body shame that I'm just like,
Not
you need to
about.
get over that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Claire?
Yeah, similarly, like Joy and I are physically completely different. Joy, we always talk about her power shoulders. I'm very petite. And so my reaction to that always is like, listen, I've been doing CrossFit regularly for 6 years. Do I look bulky? And it's like, and they're like, no, you look great. And I'm like, exactly. You know, like I have, if I would love to be bulky, I would pay money to be bulky. It's not going to happen. And for most women, it's not going to happen. And, you know, like you said, like you see these women now, as CrossFit becomes more popular, you know, like Annie Thorstadter did a Vogue photo shoot a couple years ago, and everyone was like, oh my God, like, and Annie is a freaking powerhouse, and that girl's like trunk is ridiculous. And she's the only person on this planet who looks like that. Like you know, so I always just encourage people, like, look at the athletes who you're quote unquote afraid of looking like, and imagine the fact that they didn't start out looking like you in the first place. Mm-hmm. You know, they're going to have that body type one way or the other.
Yes.
And so really, like, and then again, like if you really start going down a path where your muscles are getting bigger than you want them to look, there's a lot of things you can do about that. And you're not going to wake up one day and just like Hulk out and be like, oh my God, what happened? That doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen that way.
It's not how your body works.
So funny how people say that. Like some women will be like, oh, I just look at a weight and I put on muscle and I, you know, get bulky, and it's just like,
relax.
Just
yeah. Calm the hell down, because that shit ain't
calm
true.
down and go pick up a weight and it's fine.
Yeah, I hear you. And the thing is, it's like, I don't know the science behind it, but I'm guessing it's just, it probably is much easier for men to become bulky. And I too, right? I too go to the gym all day, every day. And God damn it, you're right, Clay. I would pay for that shit. It doesn't just happen. You need to work your ass off.
It requires a lot of calories and a lot of strict regimen with your diet. There's so much that goes into it.
And with men, you know, it's the testosterone. It helps you build more muscle, and yeah, like you have these like female bodybuilders who people look at. It's like, well, those female bodybuilders, the really like
hardcore,
unnatural looking ones, it's because that's not a natural thing. Like those women didn't get that way through their own natural hormones, most likely.
I respect it. Yes. So Claire, a specific just with you, do you have specific CrossFit goals, like your personal CrossFit goals?
I just want to do it as much as I can. Okay. Yeah, you know, we moved not too long ago, and we don't love the gym that's nearest to us. And so right now we're kind of just working out in our garage. I have a 2.5-year-old, and so kind of just keeping up with him is a lot of work. And I think my long-term goal is just to be as fit as I can into my old age.
Yes.
I want to set myself up well to be like, so small tangent. My maternal grandparents are both like the fittest 90-year-olds you will ever meet. They go to the gym every day. My grandmother walks laps. My grandfather does sit-ups. Like he does a sit-up for every year that he's alive.
Oh, good.
Like he just sits
there. I love that.
Yes.
So he does. So I mean that he like every day. So he's doing like, you know, 2,800 sit-ups a month or something. Like it's ridiculous. And that's what I just want to have that because they're in their late 80s and 90s, you know, and early 90s, and these health problems that most people that would literally kill a lot of people at that age. For them, it's like just a blip.
Yes.
And that's what I really would like to do.
Okay. So there's a couple of ways I want to take this. I don't even know where to go from here. All right, let's do this. Let's do this because you just mentioned the health aspect of everything, right? I'm a nurse. I am a nurse. Whose son is a nurse? I forgot. Someone's son's.
No, my husband. My husband.
Your husband.
Yeah.
Your husband's a nurse?
Like if I had a son. No, yeah, my husband is he's going to graduate from nursing school in a month and a half.
Can I just say, Claire, congratulations. Congratulations. Good for you.
Excited for him to be done with that. And
you pick him well. If he's a male nurse, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Tell him I say hey. Because we just talking about the health stuff, and your maternal grandparents, whoever is super healthy. I hear a lot also from the outside world. You can't do CrossFit. You're gonna break your knees. I mean, you're not gonna survive until you're like 80. You're gonna have to paraplegic. All of this craziness. Your joints are gone. How I know when I'm in the gym, all of my coaches are actually, I'd say, hugely like super strict on form, and I've been to 3 different gyms. I haven't been to a million. I've only been to 3, and every single one of them gyms I've been over a year. And it's not like in the beginning they're super strict on form and then they let go. I know that they're super strict on form all day, every day. If I'm doing a workout, it's a 7-minute workout. I'm 3 minutes in and I look like shit. They're like, stop. You need to stop, and you need to do this right. What do you guys say to people who are like, you're gonna lose your joint and this is the worst type of working out ever? What do you say to that?
I think if you're doing anything without being smart about it, you're going to get injured, right? Whether it be running. I got so injured when I was running. I got probably the most injuries when I was doing long distance running. And that was because of volume, right? And so I feel like that's where CrossFit is amazing, is because you're doing just the right amount of work to get the most out of it, right? So your body is getting the most out of a workout in 7 minutes. And so where it goes wrong is the people who start overdoing it and overtraining. And with anything, like with running, your overtraining causes injuries. And so I just, advise people to be smart about it. Like with any type of training that you would be doing, is to be smart about your training and listen to your coaches and watch your form and be coachable. And don't try to be a hero and do 2 WODs a day because you're not going to the games. Or, my motto during the Open was 1 and done, because I'm not going to the games. And so the point of that is, people need to be smart about their training and to just make sure that you're doing something that's really intense and it's meant to be short. So if you're going to be overtraining, then you are going to get injured. But you're going to get injured. You could be injured by roller skating. You could be injured by going surfing, so I think people
You could be injured by hitting.
People need a villain, and I think CrossFit was the perfect villain.
It really was. But it's blowing up. Anything to add, Claire?
When people say, like, oh, you're not supposed to squat below parallel, I just say, like, really? Because my 2-year-old squats below parallel without anybody telling him to, and he seems to have a fine time.
He is really good at it, too.
Yeah. He'll just sit there all day.
I love babies that do that. I'm like, God, show me your ways.
Your squat is so good. Wow.
So great.
Your ankles are so flexible.
It's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the other side of health. Nutrition. Are you guys paleo? Are you guys vegan? Are you guys keto? What do you guys do to look so good? Please tell the world.
Just keep talking.
We just eat what makes us feel good. And we've both gone through a lot of iterations. Joy was a vegan when we first started this podcast. I was strict paleo. We've done zone. We've done macros. I've tried keto. We've done pretty much just about everything out there except for the carnivore diet, which I still have just refused to acknowledge as a thing.
Wait. Side note, what is the carnivore diet?
It's exactly what it sounds like. You only eat meat.
Just meat.
That's insane.
That's all.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
apparently these people don't require fiber to poop. Apparently they're not worried about getting scurvy. I don't know.
Insane.
I feel like this has been proven that this is not, vegetables, let's just all agree. Eating plants is important.
Yeah,
It's important.
But we
subscribe
have,
to Michael Pollan. Eat good food, mostly plants.
Not too much, mostly plants. Yeah, so we've gone through just about everything, tried just about every type of diet there is out there. And really what we've realized is there's a big spectrum of what people need. If you're coming from the standard American diet, where even if your quote unquote healthy food is just full of sugar, then doing something that's a little bit more structured, like an elimination diet, Whole30, paleo, macros, zone, counting, weighing, measuring, that type of stuff can be a super helpful tool. But we've just seen time and time again, people who it basically just starts off being very neurotic, becomes disordered eating, can very easily become a full-blown eating disorder. And so we try to view those things just as training wheels. Like, if you're trying to create better habits, then they are great tools to use to get to yourself there. But the end goal should be a way of eating that is not stressful to you whatsoever, that you feel empowered by, and that ultimately makes you feel good in the way that your body's supposed to. And so, I know that no matter how much, I think when people hear intuitive eating, or they hear oh, I just eat whatever makes me feel good, they think well, if I'm going to eat whatever I want, then I'm going to eat a cake. But if you really think about,
means. Yeah.
If you really think about what's going to make you feel good, that eating a whole cake is not going to make you feel good.
Exactly.
It's not, it's not a free for all, but it also is my motto is don't eat like an idiot.
Yes. So I love that. It's simple. It's simple. Joy, I do have to say I am a vegan currently. So congratulations.
Nice.
I'm proud of you. I am proud
How
of
long
you.
have you done that?
I've been a vegan for 8-9 months now.
Oh, wow.
Yes, wow, this is right. But so the thing is, and Claire, what you said is super important because when I started being a vegan, that's exactly what happened. I was a neurotic mess. I was insane. I was like, I can't eat anything. I'm like, all right, bro, calm down. Like, I'm doing this for a good reason. I'm doing this for my health. I'm not doing this to stress myself out.
And it's your choice, right? No one's like
Exactly.
holding a knife to your throat, being like, you can't eat animal products.
So that's why, like, the first 3 months of being a vegan was like the worst thing ever for me. And then, like, I was just like, this is insane. This is too much. If I accidentally eat a cereal that has some type of animal product in it, I'm not gonna like the world's not gonna end. I've been eating animal products for the last 21 years of my life. So, calm down, calm down. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Diets are important, but like I learned this from one of my old coaches. It's like, yeah, you want a diet that's great, that's awesome. Go ahead and do your diet. But if you can't keep it for the rest of your life, if this is not something you want to do for the rest of your life, it's gonna suck because once you stop that diet, everything comes back, or you can just fall back into your old ways.
Well, if you think about it, our life is not set up to succeed in any type of diet. Like our society and our just daily living is not set up to succeed.
No.
So people need to realize that, and I can see people arguing with that, but just the way I see it is like, I never want to be in a situation in my life where I'm questioning whether or not I should go to a party or go to a birthday or what have you and be like, should I have the cake? Like, that's a horrible way to live. Like, our life is always going to have celebrations. There's never going to be a part. There's never going to be a part of your life where you're like, I'm going to start a diet on this time and this week because I don't have any social engagements. And I'm like, that's a horrible, miserable life. Like,
it's crazy.
I just don't believe in that. I truly believe that stress of a diet counteracts any type of thing you're trying to do for your health. And so if you can just pick a style of eating that feels good and is nourishing and is, for the most part, pretty darn good food. And by that, I just mean healthy for you, then I think you're fine. I think what happened was social media influencing us to tell us we were doing it wrong.
All day, every day. And they all want us to try their specific form of diet. Yeah. All right. The CrossFit Open just ended. I just want this because I did have another Everyday Hero Show interview with my CrossFit coach, and we talked about the workouts in detail. So I'm not going to go into the open workouts in detail, but I do want to know from you guys, just generally, how did the Open go for you guys? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Is this your favorite year? And then at the end, please tell me what your guys' specific favorite Open workout was for 2018.
Okay. I really loved this Open year. I had a good time with the workouts. I thought that they were like classic CrossFit. I went into this Open with an attitude of not stressing because the Open makes you crazy. And so I promised myself that I was not going to compare. I wasn't going to worry about my score on the leaderboard because I do register, so I get officially judged and scored. Mm-hmm. And there were moments when I left the gym where I was like, could I have done better? And I was just having to kind of talk myself out of that. I would say the workout that I really loved doing was the first one.
That was the toaster bar, the squats, or was it clean and jerk?
The rowing and the dumbbell squat thrusters, I think.
Squat thrusters,
was it squat
yes. I think it was clean and jerk is what they said, but it ended up being just
thank you. I knew it was some dumbbell. Yeah, thank you. And so I really enjoyed that workout. And then I did enjoy 18.5 because I did it scaled. And I had a hard time making that decision because I was like, I always do it RX. I do everything RX. But I don't have chest to bar pull-ups consistently. And I knew that I was going to be miserable. And I was nervous the whole morning thinking about doing it. And I texted Claire and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the scaled. No one cares but me. And I really enjoyed the workout because there was just an ego thing, right? And so the ego just like wanted to take over.
Yes.
And I went in and I enjoyed it. And I had a really good time because I could experience what the workout was meant to feel like. And it was great.
All the way through.
And I was very, very proud of myself.
Good for you. Good for you. And Claire?
Yeah, I love the Open. I love Open season. I love just the way that it brings gyms together. I love Dave Castro's random clues that don't mean anything.
Yeah, they mean nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Literally not. Like, even once he announces the workout, they make, if anything, less sense. I love them, though. I love them. Yeah. I used to like really have a chip on my shoulder about Dave Castro, but now I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what he's doing. He's honed it down to the science. I just get such a kick out of Dave Castro. I love the Open announcements. But we are not members officially of a gym right now, and so I didn't officially sign up for the Open. And in the past, I'm just not like a super competitive person. And so that really saves me in general in my life, but also specifically when it comes to the open. So I did 18.2, 18.3, or was it 18.3 and 18.4, Joy? What did we do it? Sounds like
What was the
18.4?
workout? What were the
18.4.
workout? Oh, okay.
So I did 18.3 and 18.4, and only because 18.3 we ended up dropping it at an old gym that we used to go to where we still have a lot of friends. And 18.4 we like did a little meetup at another gym where we have a lot of good friends. And so for me, it was really just about like, how can I use this to connect with other people in the community who I, miss and haven't seen in a while, or, how can I like have fun with it? Um, so between 18.3 and 18.4, I liked 18.4 better, the like deadlifts and all that kind of thing.
Oh.
Joy, your video, Noi.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Am I
Sorry.
back?
yes.
Yep.
There you go. If for some reason I drop off, I'll just call you back.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that was fun for me. I did better than I thought I would, which was fun.
I'm sorry. Remind me. You said 18.4. What was that workout? What was it?
It was like the Diane kind of workout where,
okay. Yes.
But and I did it scaled. But
the deadlifts and the handstand push-ups.
right, and
You're
then scaled
insane,
was
girl.
deadlifts. Well, I did hand release push-ups.
Okay.
Yes, so I had a lot of fun with that, and I just, the reason it was fun for me was not necessarily the workout, but just because I had fun with the atmosphere and like, anyway, it was a good time.
Yeah. Those standards, because I too am on. I have that competitive, thing in me, so I have to, no matter what, do it RX, even if I get one rep done in the entire workout. So those standards for that handstand push-ups were, oh God, they were the worst thing in the world. Do you guys follow the CrossFit Games closely? Do you follow the athletes? Do you watch the games? Do you plan on going to regionals, going to the games? Is that things that you guys do?
Yeah, we've been to the games the last couple of years. We'll go again this year. We have yet to go to regionals, and it just is because they always happen to be in a time of year where we both have a lot going on. Last year we went to the 17.5 Open announcement in Madison, which was super fun. And we follow them pretty closely. I mean, we follow all the athletes on social media, et cetera, but we don't really like stay up to date with like, oh, who didn't make it or
okay.
that kind of thing anymore.
So
Yeah, we're not like glued to the leaderboard.
Yeah, but I do want to know, do you guys have a favorite? Like, I feel like CrossFit's one of them sports where, like, more than anything else, you get to know the person that's doing the thing. Like I feel so connected to at least my favorite CrossFit athletes. But I'd like to know, who do you guys have? Like, do you guys have a favorite? Do you have a favorite team? Like, who are you rooting for? Who do you think is going to win the big gold this year?
I mean, I think our favorite athletes are the ones who we've developed friendships with over the podcast. So like, we love Emily Abbott. She's just like such an odd bird, and we love her so much.
And she's so nice. She's so fun to talk to.
That's awesome.
We had a wonderful conversation with Camille a couple of weeks ago, which just completely blew us out of the water. She's, that she just was like, it's such a well-spoken, humble, hardworking person, and so you can't help but root for her, just knowing how genuine she is about being successful and about working as hard as she possibly can. And then I just feel like Annie, you have to love Annie.
You just have to love Annie.
I just want to like hang out with her. She
just seems like such a great person.
She's awesome. She's awesome. Joy, anyone on the men's side?
Oh yeah, the men.
Oh, the men.
Yes.
Oh, the men. Not really. To be honest, I really don't follow the men that closely. It's just, I mean, they're amazing beings, but I'm just more interested in what the females are doing. So I just don't, sense. I mean, it's like good for them. I'm sure Matt Fraser's going to kick butt.
Of course.
And he's phenomenal, but I'm just not like partial to them.
Yes.
Sorry. Who's your favorite?
Sorry, guys.
So no, absolutely not. I think my favorite athlete, I don't know what, so like, I think Noah Olson is like the epitome of like hard, like super, like he believes in himself really hard, but I feel like
totally does.
Yeah, I feel like his strategy for everything is like, I'm gonna go 1,000% right now. Yeah. Do it. And I'm like,
Noah Olson needs a coach so bad.
Yes.
To calm down.
He is like 100% like from the get, all day, every day.
Yeah.
I love the attitude, but I'm like, brother, please please, right?
You can't keep this up for 4 days. You've shown time and time again.
You
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But I love Camille LeBlanc. I thought that she's absolutely amazing. I forgot what her name is, but she's not doing CrossFit anymore. She ended up going into med school, and she was like my hero.
Julie Fouché.
Yes, she was my absolute hero because I remember just watching, I don't know if it was like a YouTube video, whatever, and she was like, yeah, so I was going into school and I was working out 3 times a day and I was doing this and I'm in med school, and I'm like, how? Just how? And I'm like, that is absolutely amazing.
Do you listen to her podcast?
I listen to some here and there, but I'm super, trying to do my own thing here.
Yes.
So just to end this, and I do want to end this, and I appreciate this 1,000%. You guys are amazing. The fact that we get to do this is like,
this is so fun.
You guys are yes, just yes.
Yes.
I would love some advice. So I call this the Everyday Hero Show, right? Because I believe that you guys are doing things not only. So number one, what's super important here, you guys are doing a CrossFit podcast, and I did start the podcast mainly about how women outside of podcasts look at CrossFit women. So I love what you guys are doing and putting the female CrossFit positivity out in the world, and I think it's super important because that needs to happen a lot more. So I would love some advice for just beginning CrossFitters, people who are starting CrossFit. Specifically women. What can you say to them to just get them excited and get them to do it right and get them to not lose their minds and try to do everything RX and try to get them not to lose their minds going hardcore paleo? What advice do you have to those ladies?
I think
go ahead.
You go first.
My first reaction is always just showing up is half the battle, and walking through the door is so scary. But once you make that small step, just walk through the door, I promise that you will be so glad you did, and you'll meet some amazing people. And if for some odd reason, it's so rare, but for some odd reason, the gym that you walk into is not welcoming, run to the next CrossFit gym because they should be welcoming. They should be nice. The people there should be just it's a community, so they should be positive and encouraging. And I don't know when this show is going to air, but we just recently had someone post on our Facebook page today that they were really scared, but they were trying CrossFit tonight. So they just reached out and they posted on our Facebook page and said, I just want you to know I'm trying CrossFit tonight. She gave us a little bit of her backstory, and at the end she was like, I just wanted to tell you thank you because without your influence I wouldn't have been able to try it. And I was just so floored by what she shared that I shared it to our community, and I said, let's cheer her on. I don't know when I checked last. I want to say we have like 80, 90 comments of encouragement. That's amazing. Community.
Yes.
And like 200 people interacting with this post being like, you can do it. Please let us know how it goes. Like, that is the essence of CrossFit. You will get people that are going to cheer you on.
Yes. Yes.
And I always want to tell people, like, just try not to have any expectations. It's important to go into something with goals, but don't think that you know what it's going to be like, and if you go into it thinking, oh, it's going to be XYZ, like, just be open to whatever is going to happen. And also to touch on, like, if you don't like your first gym, just go find another one. The analogy I always use is like, if you went to a hairdresser and got a bad haircut, you wouldn't be like, that's it, never get my haircut again. You just go find another hairdresser, like, same exact thing.
That's a great point. Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, if you don't like your coach, don't be like, well, that's it, I'm never working out again. Like, just go find a new coach.
Yes.
But really, like, try to just let it be what it's going to be in that first year. You're going to have a lot of successes, you're going to have a lot of failures, but just stick with it. And the experience, you're going to get more out of it than in a different way than you could ever anticipate. And so just let that happen.
So sticking with you, Claire, I just want to real quick, your favorite movement, CrossFit movement, and then your least favorite CrossFit movement.
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. I love overhead squats.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yeah, well, and I have a good reason. I have hypermobile elbows, and so I get to cheat on the mobility for overhead squats. It's great. I love it. Yeah, it's like the one thing. And I also really like double unders.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. My least favorite movement by far is the wall ball. I hate it. Okay, first of all, I'm really short. I'm like 5'3".
Okay.
And so I was like jump shot every wall ball. I don't like it. I think it's it does not make sense to me why the height of the wall ball target is like a standard. It should be like, oh, it's a foot or 5 feet above whatever your height is. Yeah,
That's
it's
a
not
good
fair.
point. That is a good point.
And I also have very poor hand-eye coordination. Once again, was not an athlete growing up. Really good reason. And so I just get smashed in the face because I can't catch it. It's awful. Everything about it is just is physically painful for me.
Okay. That makes sense. It makes
and
sense.
I also really hate running, but that's just that's on principle.
That's
yeah.
everybody. Joy, favorite, least favorite?
I do love the thruster. I love all the moves people hate. I love the thruster and the overhead squat. I just like the feeling of the sweet spot of balance when the bar is kind of like floating above your head. And then I hate. I don't love pull-ups. I'm just not a fan of them.
I mean, there's so much pull-ups in CrossFit. I mean, pull-ups is like every day. That's like saying I don't like squatting. I mean, how?
Yeah, I don't love them. Like anytime we have pull-ups, I'm like, it just feels so exhausting.
Oh goodness. All right, ladies, I'd love you guys to plug away. Plug. I want all of the plugs. Please, where can we find you guys?
All right, you can find us girlsgonewodpodcast.com. Our Instagram is Girls Gone WOD Podcast. Our Facebook is facebook.com/girlsgonewod. We're on Twitter at Girls Gone WOD. You could email us girlsgonewod@gmail.com. I think that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do have to say, so for everybody watching this, understand something. Like I'm like super hardcore when it comes to like interaction with people on Instagram, Facebook, like all the social. I'm hardcore and like, interaction, engagement. I love that stuff. That's the core of what I do, right? But there are very, very few people that actually respond. There are very, very few people that actually engage right back with you, and especially for people like Claire and Joy who have a legitimate following, who have some shit going on, right? Do they have time to answer that one comment? Yes, they do. That is what I'm telling you. They do answer that one comment, and
we do,
and it's thorough, and that's how I contacted them. So please go follow them. It's going to be up on the screen. It's going to be in the description box below. Click it, follow them, like it, comment, talk about CrossFit. It's what we love. Yeah, I've had an absolute blast. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Do that, please. Claire, Joy, it was an absolute pleasure. Sorry for keeping you waiting for so long.
No problem. Thank you so much.
We had so much fun. You had so much fun to talk to.
We don't get interviewed that often, and so this is really fun for us.
Oh,
yeah.
So we'll have to do one in 19.2 or 19.1, whatever.
Please, we would love it.
This would be an annual thing. But yeah, so just letting you guys know, this will probably be posted. Today is Wednesday, so next Wednesday, probably next Friday, is when it will probably be posted. And then by the end of that weekend, I'll have like all the mini clips. So I usually make a super long one video of the full interview, and then I chop them bad boys up into clips of, what's your favorite thing and stuff like that.
Great. Send us everything. We'll post it. Do you have like a bio shot or anything that you like to use, or should we can just pirate something from your Instagram?
Yeah, no, I'll probably email you something a little nicer than the Instagram. But yes.
Cool. And then we can just share that on Instagram.
So just, like I said, you guys, I really, really do appreciate this.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Really, we
thank
you
you
truly
so
did.
much. Yeah, you're so fun to talk to.
Yeah, and thank you. I know it's late there.
Oh yeah, don't even.
I have to ask though, what kind of nurse are you?
Oh yes, I'm a cardiac nurse. I do tele.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, so I do the hardcore tele. But my end goal, my nursing dream is to work labor and delivery. Not a lot of labor and delivery, but when it comes
need to talk to Brandon, because that's what he's like really interested in, labor delivery also.
Oh my god, like when it comes to babies, oh
my goodness,
I can't eat. I can't even.
So I can't even. Yeah, you and Brandon will be friends. He did his whatever clinical, his like last whatever senior clinical in the cardiac ICU.
Oh, good for him.
And he didn't love it,
okay.
But he if for no other reason than he was like, by the time that these patients are in here, like, what can we do for them?
Exactly.
But yeah, labor and deliveries. I don't know.
Ladies.
I don't know. I would have loved it. I would have loved having you as my nurse in labor and delivery.
Oh, I'm all about it. Hopefully you never need it, but I'm all about it.
All right. Well, have a great night. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.